So, welcome to my channel, and after some heavy considerations, I scrapped an hour of video I had done based on a plain simple fact that with your camera absolutely dead flat straight down does not work. Once you import it into iMovie, it wants to rotate the video for whatever the purpose and reason. I hope that this one works a lot better. So obviously I'm doing this off the cuff again, and since that I'm not too sure exactly what I've shown you guys. This is still the initial portion of the introduction aspect of the channel, and showing you past builds. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. I mean, the narration and everything on the videos was actually quite good, but it just wasn't working based on a plain simple fact that it just didn't look good. So anyway, here we are. The segments that got axed pretty much started at the rod, so this is where we're going to start, and I think the best place for me to start is not necessarily where it got chopped off, but what I'm more known for, as I've built many of them and have posted them up on my Instagram account. So let's just jump into her, I guess. This is, as you'll recognize it, and this one as well, are the early 1980s 32 rods that were done in a collaboration between Mattel and McDonald's. And as you can see, these are the two sets of, I'm pretty sure that these were the only two sets of wheels at this time period. Now, I don't know whether they re-released these or not, but these are the two sets of wheels that they came out with that I know of, that I personally know of. So these are ones that I collect on a regular basis, and I've built quite a few of them actually. But so let's jump into the first one that I did. And the first one I did was just a flat black rod. And as you can see, this one is actually quite nice. And this is actually, as I mentioned before, I very rarely paint, or I never paint. But this one here I did actually paint before I got into doing the foiling. But these cars are actually make some really nice rods. And basically all I really do with these is one of my big things with my tools that I have is that I'm gonna see if this will focus all right. The pipes, as you can see, are right smoothed right out nicely. And then I give the engine a bit of a scrub and wash and a polish to kind of bring out some of the highlights, and then I just do a black wash to tone it down. Now, these things do end up toning back. Right? They really do tone back a bit. So it's not as highly shiny as it originally was. As you can see, the difference between the wheels themselves and the pipes. And this one here, obviously it was just a flat black paint job, nothing too serious or anything. The body itself took a bit of sanding, as it had been well worn and whatnot by the child or children that had originally had it. So there's that one. There's one here without its wheels on it currently, just due to that move that I had made. There's this one here. Same, different paint color scheme, white interior and the green. I believe that this was a Tamiya color or Testors. It was one or the other. And this one, let's just see what we can do here. Get this snapped into place, and then I can maybe show you the wheels that go with this car. So, and it gets the, this one is getting the white walls. There's no pin with this one here, but anyway, that's what she looks like there. And this one I did foil. I did foil the windscreen frame. And there again, the pipes and everything were all polished up. So I got a lot of cars to show you here, and we're going to cut this, keep these short as possible. So let's dive into the Wheelies. So here's your Wheelies. Now these cars were the, I had about 6 or 7 of these Wheelies. And this one was done, I had seen a picture on Instagram of the real car. This I actually done of, I got the inspiration to do this from a real car. I had the wheels sitting around. And this one was a repaint. I put down the silver, masked off to do the orange, and voila, peeled her back and a bit came off here and there. So this one still needs a bit of black wash in here and touch up on the headlights, as well as just a tap on the rear tail lights. I really like this car. This is actually kind of a very neat car. Wheelies, I mean, if you're doing rods, there ain't too many things better than using the Wheelies to make a rod with. This one here, I had started off, I had stripped her down, done a lot of the body work, because these castings are nasty bad in here with their with the molds that they had actually used. Well, not well. Anyway, there's just the mold lines, and it's quite tough to get these out. It takes an awful lot of work to get them out. But once I got this done down, I had just put it back on the base with the original purple wheels from those mystery packs. Let's see if we can get this to focus a little bit better. But when I set it back down on its original base, I thought it was just so cool as a bare metal. So I left it, and it's actually quite a cool car. And of course, rods are rods, and flat black is rods. This one here had the white wall on the back, and I was unfortunate I couldn't find a set of the small white walls to put on the front of this. And I'm not even sure that the real small size, because this is your larger, and then there's a medium size wheel between these two. This one here, all I did was I gently scraped off the tampos, the factory tampos off of it. I didn't paint this or anything like that. It was just a scrape off and clean. All right, let's move on. What shall we move on to? Okay, Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels has the 53s. Normally these are, let's see, I got another one sitting here, just for comparison here. So normally they come with the clear glass, but you can see the difference. It's just a little bit of a paint wheel swap, really makes a detailing of the lights. This one here still needs that little bit of a black wash on here. In the scrapped videos, I was talking a bit about the side moldings on these, and I didn't chrome foil these based on the plain and simple fact that I wanted something rough. I wanted it to be rough. I wanted this car to look like, somebody just kind of tossed it together, but did some accents. So they would have redipped their bumpers and the grills and stuff like that, just for that design factor. Design is everything, and even down to the 64 scale. The 64 scale design is everything. So another very cool car. It's very, very simple rod. Now I think we'll do the one here. This video is actually going to end up running me over quite a bit. This is a 55, and I think I've got a body sitting right here just to show you what it originally would have looked like. So this is the original, and that's what this one originally had looked like before doing the custom on it. Basically, I just swapped out the wheels from M2 Extra sets and had done the paint job. Now, before I go rolling over here, this is not paint. I did the molding with the chrome foil. Very, very tedious work. A little miffed because my ink, you can see from my Sharpie, ran into the paint a little bit, leaving a pinky tone around there. So there, I can touch that up. I have not done this side, as you can see, because I had originally started to paint and I really didn't like it. Did not like it at all. And just went back to, that's where I got into doing the foil. Now these foils, you can find them at hobby stores and whatnot. This is, I don't see very many people that are doing these 64 scale customs using this. Grant you, it's not the easiest thing to do with this scale of card. But this one sits on my shelf and is a very kind of cool looking car. So there's that one, and now we'll jump into M2's cars. Got a couple of M2 ones here. This one here kind of breaks us into, get this one to focus a little bit. I had started to paint this car, and I was outside now, and I didn't notice that it was misting. Just, and this all bubbled up and got a little bit in the paint. And it wasn't until I actually got into a situation where I could see in it, it just kind of bubbled up. So after I put on the primer, I had intended on doing similar something to this, but the bubbles really took over. So while things were still wet and bumpy and everything, I just laid down a coat of white and a coat of blue, and then just slowly through using a Scotch Brite, one of the brown, ready brown colored Scotch Brite, just gently started rubbing things away. Wow, the paint was a little wet just to get these effects. So it really looks like a field car. I still got some touching up here to do, and this segment here is all about just the rods, so we're going to stick to just that. So that's one of the M2 cars that I've done. And another one I've done is this one here. It's just a paint color scheme with the white and the green. I wasn't overly joyed about the color of the green and how it turned out. But as an overall car, and this here still needs to be foiled. I need to foil this. I need to clean the headlights out on this one. But as you can see, this is actually quite a sharp car. Let's see if we can just do the palm bit. So you can see it's actually a pretty cool car. So thanks for coming, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.